Assalamualaikum and hi. Today my group will present about MAT415 Group Assignment 1. Here are our group members. We have HARITH MIRZA, which is me. We have SHAHRUL IMAN. We have Sheikh Muhammad KAMAL Naim and RAINALD. Let's take a look on question 1. The scenario is charity event under volunteer club. A volunteer club in UiTM is organizing a charity event to raise funds for underprivileged children. From a pool of 15 volunteers, they need to form a team of 5 people to take on the roles of event coordinator, logistic manager, public relation officer, finance manager, and entertainment director. For question 1, there are several tasks that you need to answer. The first one is explain whether your solution is permutation or combination. Justify your answer. The second one is in how many ways can the team be formed if each role is assigned to a different volunteer. And the last one is 2 particular volunteers must be in the team at the same time. How many valid teams can be formed? Okay, let's answer the first task. Explain whether your solution is permutation or combination. Justify your answer. Our solution uses permutation because the roles assigned to each volunteer are distinct. It means the order of arrangement matters. For example, if Iman is the event coordinator and Kamal is the finance manager, it is different when Iman being the finance manager and Kamal is the event coordinator. Since the roles are unique, the order of assignment changes the outcome. So it means it's different when Iman being the finance manager and Iman being the event coordinator. Okay, for task B, let's calculate how many ways the team can be formed if each role is assigned to a different volunteer. Since each role is unique, so no repetition is allowed. For event coordinator, we have 15 choices. For logistic manager, 14 choices remain. Why 14? Because there's no repetition allowed. So for event coordinator, we have take 1 person, so only 14 remain. For public relation officer, there is 13 choice remain. For finance manager, 12 choice remain, and for the entertainment director, 11 choice remain. So the total number of ways is 15 times with 14 times with 13 times with 12 and times with 11 equal to 360,360 possible ways to form a team. Finally, let's consider the case where 2 particular volunteers must be in the team at the same time, which means there are 2 volunteers already included on the team of 5. First, let's assign the roles to those 2 volunteers. Since they can swap role, there are 2 factorial equal to 2 ways. Next, let's select 3 volunteers from the remaining 13 volunteers and assign them to 3 remaining roles. So, it's 13 times with 12 times with 11 equal to 1,716 ways. And lastly, let's multiply the result together, which the result is 2 times with 1,716 equal to 3,432 ways.
So for part A, question 2, the scenario that I made is Artisan Workshop ID system. So Artisan Workshop ID system is a boutique that is implementing a new identification system for its high-end tool. Each tool is assigned a unique ID tag consisting of 4 uppercase letters followed by 2 digits. In the standard system, no repetition of letter or digit is allowed. We go to question 2 task. The first task is how many valid ID tag can be formed if the first letter must be the letter X and the last digit must be an even number. So B is how many ID tag can be formed that contain no vowels, and C is modify the problem to include the repetition and compare. So question A, how many valid ID tag can be formed if the first letter must be the letter X and the last digit must be an even number? So the question 1, the first letter as X, so we log the first slot which X. So from 26 alphabet, it become only 25. So now we have 25 letter left to find the combination for the next 3 slot. because of the method in ID, we multiply the group by the 3 factorial. Then the last digit must be an even digit. We jump to the last slot. There are 5 even digits, that is 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. So we have 5 ways. So we use permutation and combination. 25 combine to 3 and multiply to 3 factorial to get 13800. So we multiply it with 9 and 5 to get 621,000 ways. For B, how many ID tag can be formed that contain no vowel? So the vowel is A, E, I, O, U. So we left with another 21 consonants. So we need to choose 4 alphabet that is consonants. So we use permutations 31 combine to 4 and multiply to 4 factorial to get 14364, and then 10 multiply to 9 to get 19, and 19 multiply to 14364 0 to get 1292760 way. So for question 3, we modify the problem to include repetition and compare the result. So when we forbid repetition, we use permutation and combination method. However, if we allow character to repeat, we no longer need combination because the pool never shrink. So each letter slot has 36 choice and each digit slot has 10. So we just use the power 26 power of 4 to get 456976 and 10 power of 2 to get 100, and then multiply both to get 4569760 way.
So moving on to question 3, logical statements and truth tables. The question asks you to create your own 4 primitive statements. So for question A, construct the truth table for P and not Q if then ROS. So for the new primitive statements, P the server is active, Q the database is offline, R the admin receive an alert, S the maintenance mode is enabled. This truth table is used to test if the statement P and not Q if then ROS works in every possible situation. With 4 different basic statements, we have to check 16 different combinations of true and false. We first solve the small parts inside the brackets, like checking the and or condition. Finally, we link them together using the if-then rule to see when the whole system is valid and when it failed. This helps us understand the logic behind the system behavior clearly. So for question B, determine whether the statement is a tautology, contradiction, or contingency. The answer is the statement is a contingency. For the reason, a tautology requires all outcomes to be true and a contradiction requires all to be false. Since the truth table contains 15 true results and 1 false result, specifically when the server is active and the database is online, but no alert is sent and maintenance is off. It is dependent on the truth values of its components. So for our last question, question C, interpret the logical meaning of the statement in real-world context. In a real-world context, the logical statement P and not Q if then ROS can be translated to if the server is active and the database is not offline, then either the admin must receive an alert or maintenance mode must be enabled. This logic acts as a system rule. It suggests that under normal operating conditions, the system expects a specific status outcome. The single false result in our table highlights a logic failure. It identifies a scenario where the system is running perfectly, yet no monitoring or maintenance flags are present, which might violate a specific security or logging protocol you are trying to enforce.
Hello. Okay, today I will present to you how I do this question 4. So first thing first, you always variable the definition. So that means is every statement you have to put each statement you have to put a variable. So for the first here, is a Catherine is a person pass the professional examination. So the first statement here, put a P, small p for the statement. Second statement will be the Catherine is awarded as the certified advisor. For the second statement, you have to put different from the first. So just to show this differences. So this one I put a small q. Next is her expected salary is high. For this statement, I put an R. The fourth here, Catherine can afford a new handbag. This statement I put a small s. Last statement continues using her old handbag. This one I'll put a M. Okay, for this slide, I will talk about the symbolic argument. So for start, P1 here will be the premise 1. In the column, it says a P. In the middle, symbol will be N, Q. So from here, we can read it as a Catherine passed the professional examination and Catherine is awarded as the certified advisor. The arrow next to the column will be the if then. So if column then ours, such as which is her expected salary is high. The next premise will be the premise 2. So here we got the symbol R, arrows, right arrows to the S. R stands for will be the her expected salary is high, then Catherine can afford a new handbag. That's how you read them. So the premise 3 is just to like making sure what is the next premise is. So premise 3 will be the P, so which is the Catherine passed the professional examination. Premise 4 will be the Q, which is Catherine is awarded as a certified advisor. Last premise here will be the premise 5. Over here we have the S. S from here will be the Catherine can afford a new handbag. If then, okay, if Catherine can afford a new handbag, then not that one will be the negate amp. So which is not continuous using her old handbag. Okay, so over here we can tell the Catherine's transition from the old handbag to the new one is not a choice, but a logical certainty based on her financial success. All right, okay, we're moving on to the next slide here, which is the rules of interference proof. From here, in this table, we start with the facts. Catherine passed her exam. That one will be the P statement. And got her certificate, which is the Q statement. By conjunction, we combine this, okay? Using modus ponens, we show a domino effect. Passing leads to a high salary leads to purchasing power. And that purchasing power leads to her retiring her old handbag because we follow the rules of interference perfectly. Our conclusion will be the negate amp is undeniably valid. Thank you. Okay, for the last slide here, I will present about the true table validation. This part usually will be the last solution, last thing you will do whenever you try to answer this type of question. Okay, so from here we can see that the truth table validation are mapped out. Okay, we mapped out the variable using the binary system from our notes. By calculating the final implication in the last column, we see that it results in a solid string of ones. In logic, we call this a tautology. This tells us that our argument is structurally perfect, even if we stress test the logic with different true-false combinations. The relationship between Karen's success and her new lifestyle remains valid. Thank you so much. That's all from me, and thank you for watching.